Okay. Are you comfy? Mm-hmm. Are you good? Okay. Wait.
I'm going to start out nervous too, but that's okay. We'll be fine.
Hi everyone and welcome to Everyday Chatterbox. Thanks for joining us. Today we have Bec and we're going to be discussing online dating and her personal experiences, so it should be great. How you going, Bec?
Good, thanks, Bon. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for coming in.
No worries.
And having a chat with me. So the first thing we usually do when you come on Everyday Chatterbox is you have to choose 3 questions. So these are random questions.
Okay.
So you just have to choose 3 and it's just a bit of an icebreaker, really.
All right.
Everyone gets a bit nervous in front of the camera, including me, every time. Let's have a look. Don't read them, just choose 3 and give them to me. I have to ask you the questions.
Oh, there we go. There's 3.
All right, beautiful. Thank you. All right, so number 1, if I can get it open. I think I've done them too well. Okay, what advice would you give to your younger self if you could go back in time?
Have more self-confidence.
Yeah.
And just believe that you can do anything. I really think that your youthful self is just lacking that confidence. The confidence that we have today as a woman is just, we have an abundance of it, really.
It comes with age, right?
It really does.
Yeah, especially
really
in your 40s.
And I think, you know, if you could give that to your younger self, just imagine what they could do with it.
What we could achieve.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I agree. I'm trying to get the next generation to understand that, but I think until you actually live, you're not going to get it. You're just not going to get it. But it's like, please, you just want to shake them. Please, like, just love yourself and know. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, question 2. If you could only eat the same meal every day for the rest of your life, what meal would that be? So just one thing. Like if you had to eat the same dinner every single day for the rest of your life.
It'd have to be some kind of Asian noodle dish.
Yeah?
Yeah. Maybe pad thai.
Yeah, okay. Sweet.
I'd be a bit fat, but you know.
Well, mine would be pizza. So pizza. I'd be really fat. Not that we shouldn't really be saying that, but yeah, it would be the carbs. And question 3, if you had the power to change one thing in the world, what would that be and why? World peace.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. There's so many things. I guess starvation.
Yeah, so everyone eats.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I like that.
Yeah.
We're not going to go there because we'll start crying.
Yeah.
It's another day. Today,
yes,
I want to talk to you about online dating. Mm-hmm. So I don't have much experience in that field.
Yep.
I went from, a long marriage to basically, I was single for 6 years.
Yep.
Before meeting my partner. I only had one brief experience with Tinder. It was one night. Sister set it up, let it sit. I got dick pics, I got messages from married men, so understandably by the morning I was like, not for me, see you later, never have touched it again. Stayed single for that time and ended up with my current partner. Mm-hmm. You have online dated?
I have online dated.
I hear lots of stories from my clients and just people in general about online dating, and some of them are great. Some people end up meeting, falling in love, getting married, having babies. I know quite a few. Then I hear the extreme other end, which sadly sometimes results in rape, just horrible people. There was even one, I think, down here that resulted in death in a murder. I could tell you horrible experiences, people getting locked in, whatever. But what I want to hear about is some of your experiences. Like, have you had good experiences or bad? And are you happy to
I've had some good and today? Some bad. And I guess my very first experience would be in the early 2000s. Yeah. So I was quite young.
How old were you then?
20, I think I probably would have been. And it was RSVP back then. So it wasn't Tinder. It wasn't, you would have a profile. So you pop your profile on there and a profile picture, a little bit of a blurb about yourself, and people would just flick through them. So it was not the swipe left, swipe right kind of scenario. Did
they contact you then? If they liked your picture and your bio?
You could message them. So you paid a small fee to be on this website, and you were posted on there, and there was a picture of you. But I actually didn't post a picture of myself.
What did you put?
I just put nothing. And I remember
empty space.
just being very apprehensive about putting myself out on the internet, you know, thinking I'm just not really sure. But I saw this fella that I was quite attracted to, and I reached out to him and messaged him. And he actually said to me at the time, look, I don't generally talk to women that don't put pictures of themselves on the internet, you know, because usually
who knows what you
look like.
Or if you're even a woman.
Yeah, we got talking for, you know, a few weeks or whatever. And, you know, I was living in Sydney at the time in the Sutherland Shire.
Yeah.
And he was from Ryde. So we were
Shire girl.
Quite far away.
I didn't know that about you.
Yeah. So we were quite far away. And anyway, I managed to get up the courage to go all the way to Ryde to go and see him. He still has no idea absolutely what I look like. You know, I still haven't shared a picture with him.
And did you organise to meet in a safe space?
We organised to meet at Berry Street Tavern.
Yep.
A nightclub, and I went with my auntie at the time and a couple of girlfriends, and my auntie, balls of steel, mate, just didn't even care.
So you had people with you.
I had people with me, and he had his mate with him, and he was like 6'4", so he stood up like a sore thumb. Like we saw him straight away, and I'm like, oh my God,
you recognised him from his picture,
absolutely,
right?
I did. And yeah, my auntie went up to him and said, "Oh, Jeff, you know," and he was like, "Yeah." Anyway, she said, "Oh, this is Bec," and pointed me out. Anyway, next minute we kind of turned around and we locked eyes at each other, and it was like an instant attraction. We actually dated for about 6 months, I think. And then it kind of fizzled out. But it was nice. That was my very, very first experience.
So it's a positive one.
It was positive. And then I guess I went on to just having long-term relationships until my late 30s.
So not online dating based, just generally
meeting people, and I was in like a long-term platonic relationships up until then. And then my long-term relationship of 9 years fell apart with my children's dad, and I gave Tinder a go.
So how old were you at this stage?
37.
Right. So.
And at 37, my very first Tinder date, I was living on the North Coast at the time, and they were doing all the roadworks on the North Coast. There was a lot of single men around, or maybe they weren't single. I don't even know. So there was a lot of fish in the sea, I guess you could say. And I remember having a few wines one night and like getting up the courage to, you know, put my profile out there, and I did. And
with a picture this time?
With a picture.
Yep.
And I remember chatting to this guy, and he's like, well, what are you up to tonight? You know, and I just said, oh, well, I'm just having a few wines. And he's like, oh, well, are you keen for a drinking buddy? And obviously a few wines in, I was like, yeah, righto, why not? So he came round and we had a couple of wines, and then it kind of got towards the end of the night, and I was thinking, okay, I'm tired, I'm kind of ready for bed. So I guess this is probably not a great story. And jumped up and thinking to myself, okay, I'm kind of ready for this guy to go now. But he wasn't going.
Oh, so he wanted to stay with you. Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm really tired. He goes, okay. So next minute he's up and in my bedroom.
And you didn't know how to get out of it?
I didn't know how to get out of that.
Were you uncomfortable by this stage, or were you kind of just going with it?
I was kind of going with it. I think I was drunk at the time as well, but apprehensive, and I'm like, this is Tinder. I guess this is how the whole thing rolls.
Well, that's what because I mean, even still now,
and I've initiated that, you know, I have
Tinder is a pickup app.
Absolutely. Right? So I've asked this fella here, so and would it be wrong for me to say, you know,
goodbye?
I guess this is not going to happen. So long story short, I actually did the deed.
So you slept with him?
With this fella.
You were attracted to him and everything?
I was attracted to him, obviously. But it was an experience, you know. He was like straight into the choking and...
Oh, so you like the hands-on... Was that the first time?
And for me, that was the first experience.
Yeah.
So I guess... But I went back for more.
With this guy?
With the same fella.
With him again?
So we caught up again on several occasions.
Yeah. So I just want to touch for our viewers, you don't feel like in that situation in any way, shape or form that you were coerced into sleeping with this guy?
No, I did it on my own accord.
Yes, okay.
I mean...
Just need to verify that.
There obviously was that thought in my head at the moment where I thought, you know, I don't know, do I want to do it?
Yeah, what's
do I
going
not?
on? Go with it.
I absolutely did. And then found out a few months later down the track, I had a girlfriend who was also single, and we'd both been on Tinder.
Oh.
And she also was sleeping with the same guy.
But that is what Tinder's about, isn't it?
It is exactly what it's all about. And we ended up swapping stories. Anyway.
Did you stop seeing him then?
I did stop seeing him.
Because, I mean, if there was 2 of you, there was probably 12 of you, right?
Exactly. Yeah. But he had a major foot fetish and was interested in all that kind of stuff as well. But that was my very first experience. So he licked your
toes and...
Yes.
Yeah. Was that
Thought they were delicious. And
did you enjoy that?
Not really. Didn't really do anything for me.
Out a little bit,
but he couldn't stop talking about it. He's like, "How good was it last night with your feet? You know, and our feet touching, and how's a good? Don't you love a good toe sucking?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's nice."
Look at OnlyFans now. How many women are on there, and probably men too, selling foot photos and videos and God knows what else. Anyway, that's a whole nother story. But yeah, so.
And then I guess I had quite a few other experiences from then on, some that were quite creepy.
Can you tell us some of those?
So you're
in your late 30s.
In my late 30s.
Sorry to cut you off, were you looking to meet someone long term at this stage? Was that your kind of plan? Or were you out there just going, you know what, look, whatever?
I'd come out of a 9-year relationship, so maybe I wasn't really sure. And maybe looking to boost that self-confidence again.
100%,
within yourself.
A psychologist actually told me once in that period of time that I was single for 6 years, he was horrified that I hadn't been dating and that I wasn't on dating sites. For exactly that reason. He said to me, how are you going to rebuild your self-esteem? And also, how are you going to work out what you want in a long-term partner if you're not putting yourself out there and dating? And I don't want to though. And he said, but you've actually, it hasn't been helpful for you that you haven't been dating, and you should go and get on these sites. And I was a bit taken back. I was like, wow, I don't know whether that's good advice or not, but you've just said the same thing. It does boost your self-esteem.
Absolutely.
Because you're getting attention and you're happy, you're having fun.
Especially if you come out of a relationship and you're not feeling your greatest. Yeah. And obviously you weren't getting from that relationship what you needed. So you set out to go and try and find that, and it kind of does give that back to you. But so this not nice story that I had been chatting to somebody, and I can't even remember what platform it was. It might have been Plenty of Fish from memory. So I've tried a few. And this fella had quite a few pictures of himself with his friends, and we'd started chatting. And the conversation seemed to flow really well, and I kind of thought, oh, look, maybe we should just swap phone numbers.
Yeah. So I've
kind of gotten to that point where I'm like, this platform sucks, you know, let's...
Is that one where you've got to pay as well?
Let's try having a normal conversation. And then he actually came back to me and said, I wasn't really sure that we were at that point of swapping phone numbers just yet.
Oh.
And I kind of went, oh, okay, well, that's interesting. But okay, whatever, I'll just... be cool with that. And then he kind of fizzled out. And I thought, this is really strange. And I was working at Target at the time, up in the North Coast, and I was a duty manager there. And I'd received a phone call on my mobile phone from this random number with no text message, no message left, or anything along those lines. Then a few days later, the phone rang at Target.
Yeah. Oh, actual Target store phone.
Where I worked, and I recall they had caller ID as well. I recall the number coming up on the phone that I had seen on my own phone.
Right.
And I picked up the phone and answered the phone. Anyway, it turns out that this fellow was asking about a DVD that we had in stock.
So you answered it professionally, like,
absolutely.
Hi, this is Bec, it's Target.
Yeah, and, he said, hi, I'm just wondering if you had such and such DVD in stock. I can't remember from memory what it was. And I said, I'll just go check for you. Anyway, figured out that we had it in stock and decided to put it on a hold for him, popped it on hold, and that was the end of that conversation. But I knew in my head...
This was
that I recognised that phone number.
Yeah.
And I said to one of the other girls that I worked with, I said, look, I think... So we went and checked. So we brought the phone number up on the work phone, and we brought the phone number up on my phone, and lo and behold, it was the same fella.
So you hadn't met him personally?
Never met.
You've only seen photos of him at
Never
this
met.
stage.
And so we then knew that he was going to be popping in on a Tuesday.
Had you mentioned to him that you worked at Target?
Yes.
So you weren't sure at this stage that he knew that it was you that answered the phone, or he just
I'd
really
say he would have known it was me.
So it was pre-planned to come and check you out. Okay.
Anyway, as it turned out, he turned up to the store and I made sure I wasn't in sight.
Yes. Okay.
So everybody that I worked with could catch sight of this fella first. It was not who I was talking to.
Oh.
It was quite a frightening, scary man.
Right.
That did not resemble any of his pictures at all.
What is that called? Catfish? Is
it's called catfishing? Yeah. So my
fake pictures.
My boss at the time actually chased him out into the car park and started jotting down his license plate number.
Just in case there's anything.
In case, absolutely. Yeah. And, then she gave me a bit of a talking to at that point. And it was at that point she said, you really need to be careful with this online dating business. And
because it's still fairly new back then too. Well, not new, but...
Well, those platforms I think were quite new. Plenty of Fish was quite new. So there was that. And that was a bit of a eye-opener for me. I think that kind of made me feel really, I guess, concerned about what could potentially happen to you.
Then if you're going to continue you just make sure that you meet people in public places, but you still, like you've touched, you don't know who you're talking to.
No. And then,
at all, ever. And still to this day, you don't know, if you're in a dating site, like an app or whatever, you don't know who you're talking to until you've met that person.
No, you don't. You've got no idea. Yeah. And I think that's why, I guess today, people try to meet up much quicker than probably what they would have back then.
I still think people need to meet up quicker anyway. My theory is if you're on there, whether it's Tinder, right? I don't know how Tinder, you're swiping, yes or no?
You're swiping,
you start talking to someone, talk for maybe a week or so, 2 weeks at the most, meet up, because it's not just about seeing if they're actually the person that they say they are, but also the sexual chemistry, just the general meshing of personalities. Do you even get along with this person?
Absolutely.
Do you share the same sense of humour? Or
and I feel like a lot of the time,
is there any attraction there physically?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the time today, it's kind of set up like a job interview, and
I agree with that though. I think it's great. I've had clients that have gone on these first time dates with people they've talked to for a week maybe, and then they've come back to me and I said, oh, how'd it go? And they're like, well, I asked them, do they want kids? Do they see themselves getting married in the future? If they don't own property, do they want to buy property? Like, all the things that are important particularly to them. Are you into sports? Are you into footy? Because I love the footy. If you don't, I don't know if it's going to work. And at first I was a bit horrified with that. I was like, can you do that? And they're like, it's online dating. You can do it whatever you want. So my advice to people now is to do exactly that. Yeah. Meet up straight away and lay your cards on the table.
Yeah.
I
mean, it is a lot.
What do you want? Because why waste time when there are plenty of other fish in the sea or on these apps if this person isn't going to be the person for you?
Have you seen those fish?
No. Mum gets on there every now and then, so I don't peruse them with her, but every now and then she does send me a photo of someone like, oh, you're chatting to this guy. And, even my mum, I mean, she's in her 60s, and when she goes on dates occasionally, I'm very like, text me a photo of him, his address, his phone number, where did he used to work, where are you meeting, what time, I want to know, because if anything ever goes wrong, you want to know who to go and find, or call the police at least.
Exactly.
But no, I haven't tried any personally. I don't think, even if I was single down the track, I still don't think I could do it. I think I'd rather just run into someone with a trolley.
I mean,
it's fun. Or something.
It's fun though. It's fun though, and there has been some other stories. I have quite a lot if I was to continue. But I guess another experience that I had was coming across a couple that were on Plenty of Fish. They were asking me if I would like to partake in the couple.
Were they advertised as a couple?
No.
Or was it just one of them?
So that's quite tricky, isn't it? So the fella was actually advertising himself, and then we started talking, and then as we started talking, he said, how would you feel about being with a couple?
Yeah, so I don't want to scare you, but I've actually got a partner. We're just looking for a third. And that was probably a big thing too. It was probably an easy way for people to try
absolutely. I mean, it wasn't for me.
Yeah, but at least he was honest. You didn't go to meet him and have it, you know, catch up with him a few times and eventually go back to his house or whatever. And he's like, oh, hey, this is my wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I've actually had somebody ask me to be paid for sex.
Yeah, okay.
So
that's strange on that platform.
On that platform. Yeah. So that platform I found was a little bit sketchy.
Yeah. This is Plenty of Fish.
Plenty of Fish. Yeah, a little bit sketchy. Someone was offering me $300 an hour to perform, you know, oral, anal, golden shower.
They can get this just by calling an escort
Absolutely,
agency.
They can. So I don't understand
why. Is it the chase? Is it like
maybe, or maybe is that they have more selection of. I don't know. Maybe escorts
are on there.
I'm not a thin person, so maybe they like to have a curvier woman. I don't know, but there must be a platform for that as well. There must be like
there'd have to be
curvywomen.com.
But I do believe there's a platform for everything.
So there was that, but obviously I never divulged into that either and said definitely not.
So what you just say, see you later.
Super not for me, you know. And he did try and push, you know, come on, well, why would you not consider it? You know, you
don't like it.
You're on this platform, you know, obviously you're interested in going there, but so I just found that one wasn't for me. But I mean, today, here we are, and I'm 5 years in, or 4 years in, and I met my fiance on Tinder.
Well, congratulations on your engagement.
Thank you.
I'm very excited for you. You know that. It's been a long time coming. So on Tinder.
On Tinder.
Yeah. So talk us through that. How did that start?
Okay, well, that's an interesting story as well. Because I think initially he had reached out to me. So obviously we do our swiping. We both swiped on each other and it had come up that it was a match. And he had initiated the conversation with me first. And I was still maybe not 100% sure and took a little while to respond. Then I did respond. And then he sent me his phone number straight away.
So for me, green flag to you?
Like it was kind of a green flag because I guess I had done that in the past, you know, thinking with this creepy fella.
To someone on the phone.
With this creepy fella, you know, that maybe we could kind of take the next step, which would be a good thing. And anyway, he sent me this phone number and I texted this phone number and said, I don't know if I should be using names on here, but, you know,
it's completely up to you.
Hey, Matt, this is Bec from Tinder.
Well, he's your fiance. You know,
and didn't get a response.
Oh, ghosted.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, well, that's a bit sad, but
excuse me.
You know, it is what it is, and kind of still just put my feelers out there to see if there was anyone else around.
Because that's what you do, isn't it? That's what so many people have said. It's not just one person. No. You can be on like 5 different platforms and talking to a different person on each.
It gets quite confusing as well. It's quite confusing.
Okay.
Because sometimes you can forget what story you've told one person. Right. I mean, not that you're telling lies.
I know, but
not that you're telling lies, but you know, you've got to keep up with, did I tell that person about that story or did I not tell that person about that story?
Yeah.
And, you know, often I have been caught going, oh, well, I did this once upon a time. And he's like, you told me that already. And I'm like, oh, sorry.
It reminds me of something I was either told or read years ago. Someone's grandmother said that the best way to find the man that you should be with is to date 10 men at once. Right? So then you're going on dates with all these, and it can get confusing, I'm sure, but you're going on all these dates regularly, and then one by one, they're going to fall off. You're like, I don't like that, or, no, we disagree on this, or you've done this, or whatever, and eventually you're going to end up with one person.
Yeah.
So I guess that online dating is kind of like that. You've got to, you know, kiss all the toads before you...
Yeah, I guess so.
Find your frog prince. But
I guess so.
Anyway, back to your story. It just reminded me of that story because I remember at the time laughing, going, how the hell can you date 10 people at once?
Yeah. Well, I think at the time I probably had 2 that I was talking to, and then there was Matt, who was kind of on the back burner, who had obviously ghosted me and decided that he wasn't going to message me, and I was like, okay, well, no great loss. I've got 2 other fellas that I'm talking to. And then probably a week or so later, he'd sent me another message on Tinder saying...
So not to your phone number, through Tinder?
Through Tinder.
Right.
Saying, hey, like, just reaching out, how are you? And I'm like, I just thought that, you know, maybe you weren't interested, you know, because I hadn't heard from you and I'd sent you a text. And then he goes, oh my God, I've sent you the wrong phone number.
Oh, whose phone number did you
send? So he'd sent me the right phone number, but he'd mixed up the last 2 numbers.
Okay, so just wrong digits.
So I'd messaged some other random person.
So you sat there for a week feeling ghosted by this guy and you're like...
So then we ended up actually speaking then, and for 2 whole weeks, I think we had phone chats every night for 2 weeks for over an hour and a half, sometimes longer. Sometimes we would be talking till 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. And
were you asking... Sorry, cutting you off.
Was I asking those questions?
Were you asking the direct questions or were you just chatting?
No, we were just chatting. It just seemed to flow.
Yeah.
It was just like you and I having a conversation.
Easy.
Like I didn't feel, it was like talking to my best friend, which was really, really nice. Yeah. So I guess like when you talk about that kind of thing with asking the questions, Matt and I didn't really align anywhere.
Yeah.
We were completely different, you know. I was a mum with kids and he had no kids and had no intention of having children. But the way we got on, it just kind of seemed to flow. But anyway, our very first date went really well. You know, he cooked me a beautiful dinner. He bought me a bottle of Bollinger champagne.
So like I was his house?
Spoiled, spoiled rotten. Yeah. Which I was a little bit apprehensive going there too. And I remember talking to...
Did you tell someone you were
going? Told the kid's dad that I was going there, and he said, oh my God, please send me like your GPS coordinates.
Exactly. So you can be tracked.
So I know where you are, and just let me know when you're safe when you get there. So obviously we discussed all of that prior to me going.
It's good that you got that support from your ex-husband.
It is very nice actually. Like so he does a lot of online dating as well. So I guess he was the one that actually pushed me into doing it initially.
Okay. Wow.
Because he was doing it.
Yeah.
So that was how it all kind of came into fruition. But and date went really well. Everything was lovely. One thing that did bother me about him though was he had this dog.
Right.
And I have a dog. So I love dogs. Don't get me wrong. But she was such an in-your-face dog. Like she was
she Staffy?
Kind of had Staffy in her.
Just because Staffy's like very much people.
But she's also got Bull Terrier in her, so that's even worse, so you know, like full on in your face. And obviously he's a guy, right? So his house wasn't completely clean. It was super doggy.
Yeah. And you're like straight away going,
he was super doggy. And, you know, we did actually roll around in the sheets for a bit. And that was super doggy.
Okay, so the dog sleeps in the bed with the family?
Yeah. So for me, like, I left the next day kind of going, oh, you know what? I really like Guy, but I just don't know if I can deal with that dog.
And live with his dog.
I was honestly, like, thinking, as a woman, like, you know, I like everything to be nice and smelling nice and clean, and he clearly was a bachelor, and I just didn't know if I was kind of ready for that. Anyway, I was straight up with him. I actually told him that it was the dog that had made me feel like maybe, I don't know, if I can go back there. And he was almost ready to get rid of the dog for me, everyone.
No way.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yes.
He could just make the dog like a not in the bedroom dog and slowly just... Poor dog.
So it was obviously a great first date. A couple of years. Yeah, 3 years. Yeah, 3 years.
Yeah, but it just more so showed that he was willing to... You know,
she wasn't well trained.
Yeah.
She's still not well trained.
So does she still sleep in the bed?
And she still sleeps in the bed. She still sleeps in the bed.
So you compromised.
So I compromised. But yeah, I remember the next time I had made a plan with him. So we had alcohol, obviously, on our first night. I'd made a plan with him to hang out with him during the day. And I think that was great for us.
Yeah. What did you do?
That day date. I ended up going back to his house again. You know, we had coffee. We had fish and chips for lunch.
Yes, you weren't drinking. It was just more...
We weren't drinking.
Here we are. Let's see if that same feeling's still here again.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, we took it to the bedroom that day, and it was probably the best the best afternoon I think I've ever still had in my whole entire life.
That's awesome. So he's a keeper.
He's a keeper. Absolutely.
So I'll just ask you quickly. So the sex. So you're saying 4 or 5 years in now. Is the sex still just as good?
It's probably better.
Awesome. Yeah, that's it. That's why the ring's on the finger. So after this second date, and you've slept together now and whatever, how fast did it progress
Really fast.
From there.
Really fast.
Okay, so you just knew that's it. So you stopped with the other dating?
Stopped with the other dating.
And he did as well?
And he did as well. We both cancelled our Tinder profiles.
Yep. Because that's really important.
He didn't know how to do that either.
Like, you can't be talking, like actually starting to put all your energy into one person, but you're still over here chatting to, you know, these couple other people just in case, keep them, you know, there. You've got to make that choice.
We started chatting in the September. Okay. By the beginning of November, we were Facebook official.
Yeah. Okay, so really quick.
So it was
8 weeks.
Really quick, yeah. I introduced him to my children quite quickly, which I said I was never going to do.
What did you say? By October, you're official?
By November, beginning of November.
So
it was probably about 6 to 8 weeks.
In that time, did you discuss the future then? Did you discuss those questions at any point? Did you... You're saying you're a mum with, you know, kids at this...
Yeah, not really. No? Isn't that... No.
And you didn't know what you wanted exactly out of life?
Or I think maybe we were just kind of going with the flow. Yeah. And...
which is totally fine too. I'm just curious if you at any point in that 8 weeks said, so where do you see yourself in 5 years? And, you know...
I probably should have
children, you know, because I'm obviously getting older, and if you want one, I've got to have one now.
But I think that it just goes to show that love conquers all, really. Because I wasn't thinking about those things. Yeah. I'd literally had fallen, and I think he had as well.
So you're saying you were already in love with him at 8 weeks?
Quite early.
You knew? Yeah. So you're genuinely a quick faller, or just the way it made you feel? And obviously it's the whole package, because we know that in the bedroom it was great.
Yeah. Probably not genuinely a quick faller. I don't know. It was something about him. He's completely different to me as well. We have completely different lives.
Okay.
And I guess maybe that was something that intrigued me. Maybe it was the same for him. I'm not really sure. Maybe I should ask that question when we get home.
Yeah, you should. Just out of curiosity.
But we're both big personalities, and I think we vibe really well off each other. There's constant laughing and joking and having fun.
Yeah. Okay.
There's definitely that fun aspect.
And it's still there now,
it's still there now.
Because that's what it's more important than the sex and everything else, isn't it? It's that.
And I think that's probably
wanting
what
to
makes
be with
the sex better, you know, because we're able to play and be like that with each other.
Yeah. So the flirting, you're still flirting with each other
all the time.
Teasing and
all the time.
Yeah, because if that's not there, then
it fizzles out and gets boring and monotonous.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I have heaps of other stories that I can share.
I just want to know more about what happened here with Matt then. So at 8 weeks, you've become Facebook official. Yeah. And then did you move in together straight away?
No. But I was renting at the time, and I was in a not very secure rental, and I think we were probably about 6 months in when the wheels had fallen off with where I was living. And I don't know if anyone's familiar with down the South Coast. It's quite hard to find a rental here. We had a dog. I had a few kids. My son had just found a new partner, so he was kind of moving on with her further down the South Coast. And
so you wanted to kind of stay in the area?
I wanted to kind of stay in the area, and Matt owned his own home, and I guess we were so infatuated with each other that...
So did you live like within a close proximity to each other then?
No. So he lived in Bateman's Bay and I lived in Tilba. So that's about an hour and 15-minute drive. So we were doing a little bit of trekking to see each other. You know, we would kind of swap it between the two of us. So my ex-partner would look after my kids and I would come to Bateman's Bay, or, you know, vice versa.
So you made it work.
We made it work. But, I actually moved in quite quickly within 6 months.
Yeah, okay.
And my kids ended up moving in.
Yep.
And it worked out really, really well for about the first 12 months or so. And then the wheels started to fall off.
Okay. You don't have to continue if you
I don't really want to continue with that any
I
further,
just heard that in your voice. Yeah. And you're just kind of like, okay, we'll stop there. But anyway, obviously, wherever you're at now, you've got a family.
Yeah.
You've got kids.
Yeah.
Anyway, obviously, wherever you're at now, So you moved, you know, that didn't work. You moved out, whatever. But you're still together now. And now
We're
you're
still
engaged.
together now, and now we're engaged.
So it's still a success story.
Absolutely.
Whatever's gone on in that little area.
I mean, for anyone that has teenage children, I think they'll understand.
Yeah, how hard it is.
Yeah, how hard it
to
is.
incorporate. And especially with someone you said earlier on that he had no intention of having children. So then all of a sudden you're a ready-made family.
Yeah.
That's it.
And, you know, having to teach somebody how to speak to teenage children who has no idea how to speak to teenage children.
Well, if he hasn't been around them, he's not going to know.
No.
So it's the same. My partner hadn't really spent much time with little children, so little babies. So
it's something that you got to learn.
New. Yeah, and it is something you have to learn, and they're still very like, what? But no, I'm super excited for you, and I know I'm going to be at your wedding. So when are you planning on getting married?
March, I believe.
Yes.
But to be confirmed at this point. But yeah.
Yeah, so when did he propose? How did he propose? Like, do you want to share a little bit of that with us?
Well, there's actually a video.
Because my point is to just try and get to, well, you knew within 8 weeks, so here, from when he proposed, we're getting married, we're doing this.
So he had the whole thing planned, which I actually had zero idea. So he'd just been in Bali at the time and spent some time with his friends, and I'd been at home. Anyway, he just arrived home and he said, well, look, you know, make sure you bring something nice to wear because I'm taking you out for lunch on Wednesday. I said, okay, no worries.
I think you always look nice anyway.
Thinking
but,
something nice.
Yeah,
I was kind of on the chill vibe, you know. He said, we're going out for dinner in Maruya to the river, which is really quite nice there.
So I've been there for years, but it's beautiful.
They've got new owners in there, and I tell you, you should go and eat there. It's amazing.
Yeah, I will.
It's amazing.
We can go together.
Yeah, we can talk about that later. But, so we'd arranged to go there. Anyway, that morning, you know, we're kind of all getting ready to go on this date, you know, and he's broken out like the collared shirt, the jacket.
So you knew you were going to the river?
I knew I was going to the river for lunch.
He's just getting super dressed.
Yeah, and ironing.
Yeah, you didn't start thinking, there's something going on here?
Here I am in jeans and, you know, just a cute top, like whatever. Like I hadn't really got too dressed up. And I actually said to him on that morning, I said, getting quite dressed up, baby. And he goes, oh, I want to make an effort. You know, like we haven't seen each other for a couple of weeks. Yeah. And, you know, I want to take you out for a nice lunch. And I'm like, okay, you know. So we arrive at the river, and as we walked in, the lady actually said, Matt?
Oh, so
to him. And he said, yeah. And she said, okay, we've got you over here. So they'd sat us in, obviously was their best table. So their corner table right across from the river so you could see straight out. Anyway, we don't really drink a lot, everyone. But on this particular occasion, he said to me, you can drink whatever you like.
Yeah.
And I'll drive.
Okay.
You know,
so he's not drinking with you, it's just you.
No, he said, I'll have one, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so someone's being responsible.
Yeah, we looked at the wine list and anyway, I ended up selecting something. He goes, well, we'll just get the bottle then, shall we? I was like, okay, right, I said, why not? So we get the bottle. Anyway, it's delicious wine. I can't remember exactly what it was called.
Was it red or white?
It was white.
White.
Anyway, absolutely delicious meal we had. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And just before we were about to order dessert, he nicks off to have a cigarette.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there at the table by myself. And then next minute, by the way, everyone, I'm bottle of wine in.
So you've drunk the bottle yourself?
The bottle of wine. And, you know, close to. He's had maybe half a glass. And
so just making sure you're going to say yes here, right?
Next thing I knew, I'm looking out the window, you know, all la-di-da on my bottle of wine, and I could feel someone next to me, and I kind of looked and took one glance and noticed that he was down on the floor a little bit, but I didn't really think anything of it.
Yeah, okay.
And then he was still there. So I turned around and realised that he was down on one knee.
Yeah, he's sweetheart.
And, had asked me to marry him. And this was all recorded as well.
Yes. I've actually watched it. So, yeah, I do think it's absolutely beautiful. And you definitely didn't look tipsy in it. So a little bit like, oh, my God. But, yeah, not tipsy. So he did really well, and you said yes.
He did
obviously.
really well. He did really well. And, you know, he's such a sentimental person as well. So once we had finished having lunch and we went and paid, he even asked for the receipt, the keeper, you know.
Yeah,
like
for mementos.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
So he's a sweetheart. He's got a big heart and, you know, I absolutely adore him.
And no more dating sites ever.
And no more dating sites.
So you're a success story. Another success
Finally.
story. Yes. But it wasn't that long, right?
Not with him, no. Not for the later on in life one, no. So I had a couple of dates before him.
Yeah.
But they didn't kind of work out so well.
So if you want to tell anyone that's, you know, currently dating, feeling like they do want to meet someone, but they're never going to really
I feel like it's absolutely possible.
Yeah, because I know a lot of people go on and off. They'll go on, they'll have a few bad experiences or get ghosted or whatever, and then they go, no, fuck this, I'm not doing it anymore. And then after a couple of months, you kind of, I don't know, it's hard in society now, I think. I don't know whether it's because of the dating sites, but I feel like it's harder to meet people now.
Well, it's not like we used to be.
Yeah,
we used to just go out to a nightclub and we used to talk to people.
And you just bump into someone and you'd start chatting. I mean, everyone was your friend at a nightclub, you know, and it's not like that now. People are way more reserved, and I don't know whether it's because of COVID and people just shutting off, or is it just generational?
Or is it because of social media?
Maybe, yeah.
Is it because when we were younger, you know, social media was only, well, it wasn't really a thing. We only had mobile phones, you know, we were only just texting at the time. So people didn't have their head in their phones constantly, whereas now you go out and you see people with their head in their phones still. And you know, they're not conversing as much as they used to.
It's like, yeah. Do you think that's what it is? It's just a lack of human interaction. Like,
it's a lack of human interaction. And then, as I said earlier, it's that job interview feeling, you know. It's that feeling where you feel like you're getting a job interview. You know, you don't go out anymore and go, oh, my God, he's super good looking.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to go chat to him.
I want to go and chat to him. Yeah. You know, now it's like, oh, well, he's nice looking, but, you know, has he got a boat? Has he got a job?
Yeah, you're
has he got children? Does he not want this? Does he want that?
Because there's everything in there. I believe, looking at some of mums too, it's eye colour, hair colour,
everything
of you,
body shape.
But then it actually, in some of them, they have parts of like, and what do you want in a partner?
Yeah,
you know, to the point. You can select eye colour, hair colour, all of these things. So you are
authenticity. Like,
you're shopping online for a partner.
You are,
and then you've got to go meet that person.
Yeah. So I think I would be worried if I probably had to jump online again now.
Yeah.
And I think my success story was a few years ago now, and I think it is getting worse and worse and worse from what I've seen.
With the apps. See, I don't know. I kind of feel the other way. I feel I feel like I'm hearing, like, you still hear the same amount of, you know, oh my God, that guy's probably, you know, chatting to so many people and sleeping with everyone. But I definitely am hearing way more success stories, and I think it's because more and more people are leaning to, well, this is it now, really. It's not even leaning towards it. Let's be real. Unless you're out and you actually meet someone, you've got to go to these dating sites. If you want to date, you have to go there. That's the first place you're going to go now. But I'm hearing more success stories than I am hearing crap stories.
Yeah, okay.
So that's me personally in here, and I see, you know, 8 to 10 people a day, you know, so the ones, I don't know, my percentage, I guess, for people that are on these date sites, it's going to be way more than half are.
Well, that could be better. That could be right.
Happy.
But I guess I know a lot of horror stories as well, and I've heard them from other people, which obviously I can't share that because it's not my story.
Share one. My worst horror story that I heard from someone pretty close to me, actually, she talked to a guy for, I think it was around 4 weeks. She was chatting to this guy, seemed lovely, whatever. They decided to meet up for coffee. They met up at a coffee shop, had coffee. Everything seemed great. He invited her back to her place. And this is daytime, so he's just in, you know, she's not thinking anything more of it. Like, oh, cool, we've been talking for a month. We've just had coffee in public. Everything's great. He is who he says he is. She goes back to his house and goes inside, and he's deadlocking the door behind her. So it's a unit.
That's a big red flag.
Unit, right? it was a red flag, but still she thought, oh, maybe it's unit living, that's deadlocks the door. I'll skip bits and fast forward because it is her personal story to tell, not mine. Basically, at the end of the day, this guy wanted her to be his sex slave. So he had like a dungeon area set up. He wanted her to sign a contract that she was going to be his, I don't know, what is the word? What is the word? I don't know.
Submissive?
Submissive, exactly. Yes. He wanted to put collars on her and have, he wanted her for that.
So he was going for the whole 50 Shades of Grey
and he wasn't going to let her out that door until she signed this contract to say that that's what she was going to do. So she basically waited for the hours for this guy to fall asleep, on top of him, cuddled up, because this guy is big. She's into big, muscly, massive guys.
Yeah, right.
Waited for this guy to fall asleep, cuddled up on top of him, because it was the only way she had to, just felt like instinctively she had to go along with what this person wanted for her own safety. So she kind of just laid on top of him watching TV, and she realised at one point he's sound asleep, so she bailed out the window and down the fire stairs, left her bag and everything in the apartment just to get the hell away, and went to the closest police station and just kind of reported this. And then she's left with the fact that this guy has her handbag now, so it's got her license.
Where she lives.
So she ended up moving. So that's one of my... So, I mean, she wasn't physically harmed, but she definitely could have been.
Absolutely.
And this is after weeks and weeks and weeks of talking to this person and meeting him and thinking he's okay. So when do you decide someone's okay enough to go to their house or to...
You can never be too sure.
So you just always have your tracking on and make sure someone's aware of where you are.
You can never be too sure. I think there's always that thing in the back of your mind that you could be going home to a serial killer. You don't know.
You could be a serial killer right now, and
Absolutely.
I don't know. You could have just taken all these years befriending me. No, let's not even go into, oh my God, people's minds. My kids have been watching Monster. Is it the Ed Gein story? I haven't watched the whole thing, but I've just been watching little bits and pieces when it's on, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't do it.
It's a lot.
Some people are just sick.
It's a lot. So I've watched the whole story.
You've watched the whole thing?
I've watched the whole thing from start to finish.
Yeah, no, I definitely am not going to.
I mean, for somebody who hasn't murdered a lot of people, it's certainly like way more out there than Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah. See, I didn't even finish that though. I watched the first couple of episodes and then I just got a bit bored. I felt like I was a bit slow. So I was like, maybe I'm just not a psychopath. I don't know. just didn't finish it. But all right, well, we're going to wrap it up, I think. Thank you so much for coming and sharing your experiences with us. And I'm super happy for you and Matt. And
Thank you.
I can't wait for the wedding. And yeah, we'll chat again soon.
Sounds good.
All right, thanks,
Thanks, Bon.
Love you.
You too.
All right, that's it. This is a bit... And then I always just go, oh my God, did the whole thing.